Woke Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon is blamed for the loss of 2 police officers. So if I'm not reading the words correctly, as far as what you're seeing on the screen, that's on purpose because we don't want to get censored. We don't want to get censored. Can't have that. Progressive Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon is facing mounting efforts to oust him amid outrage that his reckless policies left a violent gang member free to end the lives of 2 police officers. It's just absolutely crazy. And you've got, all right, this happened and this happened. So, what are we missing here? See, you let him go and he went out and now we're short 2 police officers permanently, forever. We're not missing anything here. We just got some crazy policy going on that makes 0 sense to the vast majority of us that are reasonable. The woke prosecutor already facing recall efforts. If you remember, I think the recall Gascon effort, they recently put together, I want to say it was 750,000 votes. They needed 567,000, and roughly 20 of the 700,000, whatever, will probably get tossed out due to various reasons, but 20% is a kind of a normal number from what I understand. So there's a good chance that this will be on the ballot. Probably the recall of George Gascon would be on the ballot as early as maybe November-ish, if all goes well. But if we remember, Chesa Boudin, he just got recalled. Hey, you're not doing your job. In fact, things are going wildly sideways during your tenure here. You're out of there. You're out of there. So are we going to have that in LA? Is that going to happen? I mean, odds are it could. I don't know. This is just such a crazy scenario where you've got, a district attorney who just basically doesn't do their job. They're like, let them out. It's okay. It's all good. They'll be fine. I mean, society will be fine with these, people that are literally convicted of numerous felonies, and they're just running around as if nothing's going on, and they commit more crimes. And what happens to them? Not a lot. Crime does pay, especially in 22. Crime does pay. So, the felon who had his gang allegiance tattooed on his face. Wonder what gang you're. Oh, yeah, I see the tattoo. I get where you're coming from. So this felon was free even though he was accused of breaking his probation by illegally carrying a gun. These folks they don't care. They're just like, that's what we're doing. Yeah, let him go. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, was among those slamming Gascon after the district attorney issued a statement offering heartfelt condolences to the slain cops' grieving loved ones. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of impact, does it, when you're the person responsible for their loved ones essentially being no longer with us? That's kind of some empty nonsense, isn't it? You're like, well, why didn't you do something? Well, 'cause that's not what Gascon and others are doing. They're just letting things go. This is what they're doing. Nothing. Officers Paredes and Santana gave their lives in the service of their fellow citizens, Cruz tweeted late Wednesday. It's outrageous the felon was not in jail due to the reckless actions of George Gascon, a radical, soft-on-crime, Soros-backed district attorney, this Texas senator wrote. All things true, right? I mean, backed by Soros, we know that. Radical, soft on crime. And then we wonder why crime is elevating. We wonder why these criminals, these convicted felons, are just, going ham. We wonder. We don't wonder at all. We're just like, oh, geez, yeah, this is not going to end up well. This is not going to go in the direction that law-abiding citizens want. And so we are having these recall efforts. But in my opinion, it's kind of like a day late, dollar short, because you're going to still have this stuff continue to go on. you're going to have cops who are no longer with us. Their lives are going to be ended because of this crazy radical, everybody's a good person. Let them all go. Don't put anybody in jail. Kurt Schlichter, an Army veteran and lawyer of more than 450,000 followers on Twitter, went even further. What did he say? Gascon flat out ended these guys' lives. He tweeted angrily, recall this piece of garbage. And instead of ended these guys' lives, we have the M word in there, right? He came right out and said it. Just ended these police officers. Boom. Jennifer Van Laer, managing editor of conservative outlet Red State, said that she was heartbroken and mad as hell. George Gascon, you are getting police officers and lots of other people lives ended. M word. Time to go, she tweeted. Kevin Dalton, candidate for the LA Board of Supervisors, also said the police should still be alive today, if not for the policies of George Gascon. I mean, we all know it. We all know this is ongoing. And this is a perfect example of, okay, here's why those policies don't necessarily work. Because they are, when they're going head to head with the police and you're short 2 more police officers, won't ever see their kids, won't ever see their loved ones, won't ever see their families, aren't able to patrol the streets, aren't able to do what they can to ensure public safety because of a district attorney not handling crime the way it should be handled. I mean, it's just shocking, isn't it? George Gascon should be charged with accessory to the M word by 2, he tweeted. Flores had been prohibited. This is the felon had been prohibited from carrying a gun since 2011, but he was free despite pleading no contest in February 2021 to possessing a firearm as a felon. Lock him up. Lock him up. He's a risk to society, clearly. And what he did to the 2 police officers, I mean, he just did. So, I mean, there is absolute evidence of that. Lock him up. Should have been locked up the first time. That's why we used to lock up people like this, right? I mean, we just did. Get them off the street so they don't endanger anybody else's lives. That gun conviction could have sent him to prison for 3 years, and it should have. Instead, he was sentenced to 2 years probation and 20 days in jail, which he'd already served, the prosecutor said at a plea hearing. These guys are just pleading out on all kinds of just ridiculous stuff. And these district attorneys, and they're saying, well, the criminal system is just a lot of racism and white supremacy, so we're just going to let these criminals go. And the rest of us are kind of looking in going, well, yeah, no, we don't really see it like that. That's kind of not how we see it. You got to put them in jail. If they break the law, you got to put them in jail. That's just how this works. He was warned that if he was found with any weapons, this is the convicted felon who did the shooting. He was warned that if he was found with any weapons, including guns, ammunition, and knives, he could still get that 3-year prison term. Well, he's going to get something now, hopefully, right? I mean, M-word charges? I would guess so. His probation officer has filed a request for a revocation hearing for desertion on Monday, just a day before the incident happened, the outlet said. He had been accused of attacking his girlfriend, but was not arrested, with officials only saying that they were currently investigating why not. So you got just all kinds of instances here where, coulda, woulda, shoulda on keeping this guy off the streets. And this is a story that just happens every single day, unfortunately. And I think citizens are aware, hey, you got to do something here, folks. And I think a lot of folks are wildly upset. It's just in today's political climate, we're kind of in that mindset of, yeah, we can't send him to jail. I mean, we just can't. That's racist. Flores, who had quiet tattooed on his face, marking his allegiance to the Quiet Village gang, had, can't even come up with a substitute word for that, White. He had an interaction with his ex-wife, Diane Flores, just days earlier. It was quite violent. She told NBCLA a clear violation of his probation. So this guy is running around just doing crazy stuff, and nobody stops him because that's not what we're doing. We're not stopping criminals. We're not putting criminals away. We're just giving them chance after chance after chance. And guess what? When they know they've got endless chances, it's not even like the 9 lives of a cat. You know, when you got a cat that you're like, well, they've used up like 7 of them. You need to go easy, kitty. You can't outlive all your 9 lives. These guys have endless 9 lives, right? Which doesn't make any sense at all. They have endless lives as far as their criminal careers take them. They're out just running around willy-nilly. He was trying to confront her at the motel where she was hiding from him Tuesday. When he opened, he had the altercation with the police officers that ended in them no longer being with us. Flores was pronounced dead at the scene while the officers died later at a local hospital. So, shootout. It could have been prevented, obviously, multiple times. But that's not what we're doing. And then we get to this point when we're like, oh, man. The fresh outrage at Gascon's soft on crime policies came on the same day that a group trying to recall him said it had reached the required 567,000 signatures, and they had, I think, at least a couple 100,000 more. The effort follows ultra-liberal San Franciscans voting overwhelmingly to get rid of their own progressive district attorney, 𝐍𝐞𝐸. All right. So there is some progress moving forward, but the damage has wildly been done. And then, they bring in somebody who's maybe a little bit better, but you're fighting a wildly uphill battle. Whoever goes in on Gascon, if he does get recalled, they're not going to be a hardcore, go after all criminal types, are they? No, that's just not what we're doing. So unfortunately, San Francisco and LA, you're going to have to keep dealing with this kind of stuff no matter what, just maybe at slightly less elevated levels, because this is out of control. The fallen officers, meanwhile, will be honored at a candlelight vigil in El Monte on Saturday. And the fundraiser set up to benefit their wives and children had eclipsed $61,000 as of Thursday. This is just wildly unacceptable. Police being killed by convicted felons who shouldn't be out there running around. They should be in jail, period. That's the way I see it. But there's a certain segment that is in political positions, and they are of the mindset that that's not how we're handling things right now. And so then you end up with this kind of nonsense. And by nonsense, I mean police officers who give their life in the line of duty. Some hardcore stuff. Several of the officers' relatives said they were too distraught to talk when contacted by the Post. Paredes' sister, Angelina, updated her Facebook cover photo to show the late officers' badge numbers. She also thanked friends and family on Instagram for their love and support since this incident happened. At the end of this story, it says, I just pray that God forgives him, the convicted felon that also lost his life in this firefight. But I'm also glad that he's dead, too. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that is fair enough. He's no longer allowed to roam the streets free and do his criminal activities. So all in all, him being off the streets is zero, consolation for 2 cops being gone. That's just not acceptable. I had a post sent to me a little while ago, and it outlined just how many police officers have been killed in the line of duty. And I can't remember the actual number, but where's all the outrage there? Where's all the outrage there? You've got, folks that are involved in criminal activities. Sometimes their lives are ended, and there's just this massive outrage, this massive public outrage. But in a situation where police are trying to protect civilization, through public safety, we just don't seem to prioritize that. We don't prioritize that at all. And I blame that on a lot of the way things have gone politically, and the far left just being out of their minds when it comes to what reality looks like as far as keeping communities safe. Because we know when you defund the police, who's going to be impacted the most? Yeah, the BIPOC communities. So Black, interracial, people of color, those people get impacted the most. The ones that we're trying to protect, the ones that we're trying to protect the most, those are the ones that get impacted the most because there's the most activity going on in those communities. So you reduce the police protection, it's not going to go well, and it hasn't gone well. And now we've got this kind of stuff going on. So there's a real battle going on, ideologically and, politically and on the streets with this kind of stuff happening in LA, where you can, put a finger on it. All right, this guy shouldn't have been out on the streets. He should have been locked up in jail. And I say that a lot, lock him up. Because that's basically all you've got for justice, right? Is locking people up. If you had another alternative that maybe got them to turn the corner into being normal human beings and not being convicted felon, activity for the rest of their life. And there are some people that turn that corner in prison. It's just not very many. It's not very many, right? Because crime does pay, and you roll the dice on, all right, well, I'm not really paying taxes here, and I'm not really living the lifestyle that most people do, but I'm getting by, and this is what I know. And, so many people, I think they want the fast buck, or they want the gang affiliation, or they want whatever. They grew up in a poor neighborhood and a poor community, and they're stuck in that system, and they can't seem to work their way out. And one of the ways they do is, join a gang and go down that road. It's a tough call, because how do you get out of that cycle? How do you get people out of that cycle? Well, take that aside. How do you keep people safe? Well, the known criminals, you got to lock them up. Give people one chance, two chances. Okay. But we're talking typically about convicted felons that should be in prison for longer prison sentences, right? That's what we're talking about. But that's not really what we're doing in 2022. We've gone the other way, and we just kind of say, well, we know it at your core, deep down inside, somewhere in there, we know you're a good human being. And we believe that you can turn this corner. I don't even know if they think that. I don't even know if they think that. I think they're just like, fuck it, let them go. I think that's what's going on. And here we are. And then we wonder why 2 police officers are no longer with us. We don't wonder. We know. Direct cause and effect. All right. That's it for me on this one. But, we can't have less cops. We need more. But again, I'm, preaching to the choir on that one as well, right? Okay. Thanks for being here. We'll catch up soon on the next one. Talk then. Bye for now.